My YouTube friends, what have we here? You would not believe what this is. It's not what it appears to be. For one thing, this would not be on my lap if it were. This is called a zebra roving. Actually, it looks a lot more like a skunk. But isn't this fun? I am spinning this right now as we speak. And here is my sample ball from the skunk. I have it, and you can see all this, the wonders of handmade spinning. You've got, you know, some blemish in the yarn, which is part of its character. But you can see here that you can see where the spinning results in a zebra effect within the yarn. See that one where you've got the twisted black and white? And you can see some more examples of that. So I already gave a YouTube video on how to spin, but I'm just going to cover that again very briefly. You need a piece of yarn, or you can use string, or what I do is I use roving and I twist it to make it stronger. And you need about 4 inches on this side to start your roving, to actually start spinning. And I'm going to give you a sample of what you can do to get this roving going in the spinner. Here I have roving. I'm going to chop it up into finer pieces, and I'm only going to give you a little bit of a sample of this. This is very, very soft. I love this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that this is about the length, the thickness that I want to spin. And this should be rather fun to show you because it will probably have that zebra effect when I do spin it for at least the first few inches of this, so you can get an idea. Alright, there's my 4 or 5 inches that is necessary to get this thing started. Now I'm going to start spinning in a clockwise direction, and you can see it spinning. See, isn't that cool? Ooh, I got some stray roving that's getting stuck in this, which is a big problem. This stuff is a little bit hard to handle. Some yarns are much easier than this one. Okay, so there I am, spinning, 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 going clockwise with my hand to get this thing moving. And it's moving, and there's a trick to the top part, because you have to keep thinning out your yarn as you go along. And the trick is not to have it spin at the place where you're thinning it out. You need to have your spin stop. Your spinning all occurs below this point. That's the only trick, really. And you'll get the hang of it. So here I am with my thing going clockwise down below what you're able to see. And there I am thinning out the top as I go along. And every once in a while this thing will stop. Just make sure it doesn't go counterclockwise too much. Just keep it going clockwise. Clockwise, 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 clockwise. And you will get a few bumps as you go along, which is part of the charm. And here I am again separating this stuff out so that I can spin it. Spin, 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 spin. Pinch, 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 pinch. Spin, spin. I'm sitting on a sofa, so if I want to park it, I can park it. In other words, to prevent it from going counterclockwise. Once it loses its momentum, I can just pinch it with my legs or something so that the spindle part will just park it. Just stop. Just stop. Okay? So then once you get to a certain point, then you get all this great exercise of going like this and wrapping it around the bottom. And it can take quite a bit of production. Your bottom part of this thing can hold quite a bit of yarn. You know, you see all those ladies in Bolivia and they've got this big fat wad of stuff up below their spindles, and that's what they're doing. They're spinning away. Now I'm left-handed. I think it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can spin. And when you get to a certain point, you will want to take this and stick it through a notch. There's probably a notch in your spinner. And then you're going to start over again. Make sure you've got about 4 inches to start with on the other side. 3 might not be enough. 6 is getting long. 4 or 5 is good. This is about the perfect length to start another piece of your roving. Here's another piece. This one's thicker, but I'm hoping to draft it to make it thinner as we move along, just using that pinch technique that I was showing you before. Okay, there I'm pinching and I'm moving it out. Whoops, I moved it too far. See that? It's too thin in that one place. I know it's going to break on me, so I'm going to splice it backwards into what exists. And now I'm going to try again. And I'm pinching it in, pinching it all in. I'm parking my spinner for just a second because I need to concentrate on drafting this yarn. I've got it pinched right where I want to start spinning. And then I immediately move it as I go. Okay, see, that's getting a nice thing there. And once it starts spinning, you can actually move on this pretty quickly. It only takes about 4 or 5 spins before you've really got yarn. And you can move on. Now, every once in a while, your spindle is going to stop moving and it's going to lose momentum and it might start going backwards on you. So that's the only trick, is just to keep it, if you keep it moving clockwise, and if you find it running backwards, then stop it with your legs. If you're sitting on a sofa, I'm stopping it with my legs. You can't see this right now. I'm just squeezing it between my legs to prevent it from going counterclockwise. Here it is. Here's my other yard of yarn. I'm going to, whoops, I went the wrong way with this. Okay, so I'm just going to get this around. All I'm doing is putting this on the bottom of my spindle. See all that black that just went onto it. Okay, and then you get the idea. It's actually very simple, but it takes a little bit of technique before you can, and I'm usually doing this standing up, which I much prefer to sitting down. And there we are. I've got my 4 inches, and I've got more to draft here. Move it clockwise, and just keep moving your yarn above your pinch point. That's the only secret. Just keep it moving. As I say, you're going to get irregular yarn, but that's part of the charm, because if you really wanted regular yarn, wouldn't you just go to a yarn shop and buy it? It's cheaper, it's quicker. But it's something very special about making and wearing things that are made with hand-spun yarn. There we go. See how easy that was? That's another yard of yarn, or 2 feet, that I'm sticking on here. Well, this is giving you an idea as to what happens when you buy a skunk in the mail or a zebra and you want to make something out of it. Here's my yarn. This is what I've already spun up on this little skunk. So I've only got about 200 more yards to go before I can make something usable. Cheers!